Over the last few months, I've talked about some useful tools and techniques for your harmonic progressions that use non-diatonic harmony. And it would be remiss of me if I didn't also talk about chromatic mediants. I'm sure you recognise the sound of these because they're used so much to great effect in film and TV scores. If you were to search for examples of chromatic mediants, you'd find music of John Williams and Danny Elfman, film composers. They are, however, not used very often in general pop music, although there are some more experimental bands and musicians who do use these. Radiohead, for example, no stranger to chromatic mediants. As per usual, I'll do my best to try and explain what these are and then some ways that we can use them. So, chromatic mediants. Now, the term mediant is referring to scale degrees, specifically thirds. I'm sure you know that the different degrees of the major scale and the chords from the major scale have names. You've seen these, right? I'm sure you're familiar with some of them, if not all of them. So the third degree of the scale, or the third up from the tonic, is called the mediant. And the sixth degree is the submediant. Or maybe more appropriately, we should say that the third down from the tonic is the submediant. So the focus of chromatic mediants is pointing us to thirds, major thirds and minor thirds. Now, chromatic simply means notes that aren't part of the key, non-diatonic tones. So chromatic mediants are chords built a third away from the tonic. Could be a third up or third down, could be major third or minor third, and they must include non-diatonic tones, hence the chromatic. So let's have a look at the different mediant options for C major. So a major third up from C is E, a minor third up is E flat. And on each of those tones we can build a minor chord and a major chord. So we've got E minor, E major, E flat minor, E flat major. We can do the same thing thirds down from the C. So a major third down from C we have A flat, a minor third down from C we have A natural. And again, on each of those we have minor chords and major chords. So we have A minor, A major, A flat minor, A flat major. So those are the 8 different mediant options we have for C. But are they all chromatic mediants? Remember, in order to be a chromatic mediant, the chord that we're moving to needs to include non-diatonic tones. So if we look at the chords we've got up from C, E major, well, that's got a G sharp in it. G sharp isn't diatonic to C. That's fine. But E minor just includes E, G, and B, which are all notes that are part of C major. So that isn't a chromatic mediant. It doesn't qualify. It's just a mediant or a diatonic mediant. Now E flat, obviously, and E flat minor, they include non-diatonic tones. Let's have a look at the other two. So A flat, yes, obviously non-diatonic tones. Non-diatonic tones. A major includes a non-diatonic tone, but A minor, same as E minor. And we know this because it's in the key of C. So this is another diatonic mediant. So A minor and E minor don't qualify as chromatic mediants. So these are the 6 chromatic mediants to C major, but we can also do the same to C minor. Very similar, but we just have to swap out the diatonic chords. E minor isn't any longer diatonic to C minor, and A minor is not diatonic either. E flat is diatonic to C minor. They're both relative keys. And A flat is diatonic to C minor. So we can add back in A minor, E minor, we lose E flat and A flat. So these are the 6 chromatic mediants of C minor. Following along? Obviously this principle applies to all chords. We're just looking at C for now. Now there seem to be some disagreements out there about exactly what constitutes a chromatic mediant. Some people feel that the 2 chords, the tonic and the mediant, should both be the same chord quality. So movement from a major chord to a major chord, or minor chord to a minor chord. But there shouldn't be a mix of chord qualities. You shouldn't be moving from a major chord to a minor chord, or from a minor chord to a major chord. The main difference between the two is that when you mix chord qualities, you lose any common tone between the 2 chords. For example, C major chord to an E flat minor share no common tones, whereas a C major to an E flat major, there's that common tone there. So there's an argument that if you're in a major key, your chromatic median should be major. If you're in a minor key, that movement should be to another minor chord. I appreciate the reason of keeping that common tone because it helps smooth out the transition between the two chords, and I think it's an element that helps make chromatic medians work so nicely. Now my take on this, should you care to know, is that music theory isn't about passing a test. It's not about this is right and this is wrong. It's about discovering tools and knowledge to give you more informed options as a musician, as a composer. So thinking of music theory as tools to help us explore, not rules that we have to adhere to. Tools, not rules. Get that on a t-shirt. Tools, not rules. So I say, why not take the premise of chromatic medians and see what happens when you mix the chord qualities? Do you like it? Do you not like it? To me, one of the important elements and a reason for using chromatic medians is about creating this discomfort and this tension. And I think that that mood can still be achieved if we do mix the chord qualities. So mixing chord qualities, I don't think it sounds too bad. So I think they're worth including in the discussion about chromatic medians. Now let's have a look at some ways that we can use these. Now in my observation of film music, it's not uncommon just to ping pong between a tonic and a chromatic median. Something like this. So maybe you'll have some different movement in the bass, but effectively you're just moving from a tonic to that one chromatic median, back to the tonic, to that same chromatic median, back to the tonic, to the same chromatic median. But it works really well. Here's another way we can use it. We can keep alternating between tonic and chromatic median, but what we'll do is every time we go to a chromatic median, we'll go to one of our other chromatic medians. So that's what this sounds like. Now, the great thing about chromatic medians as well is that within the key that you're in, the tonic key that you're in, your chromatic medians are chromatic medians of each other, sort of. What I mean is that, you know, major third up from C is E, a major third down from C is A flat, but a major third down from A flat is E, a major third up from A flat is A flat. So what they are actually is chromatic medians of each other. So although that we think of E as being the chromatic median of C, if we've on A flat minor, then the chromatic median of A flat is also E. I think I've confused you. But anyway, what I'm going to do is move around in thirds. And what I'll do is I'll mix up some chord qualities as well so we can hear the chord qualities together. So we might move from a minor to a major as well. So let's have a go. Really nice. It's clear to see why these progressions are so often used in tense and dramatic film scores and TV scores. Our old friend tension and release. Or in this case, tension and then some more tension. So that's my little rundown of chromatic mediants. I hope there was something new in there for you somewhere, some takeaways. Thanks for being here.